So, graphic design has rules, right? Grids, hierarchy, alignment, legibility. The list, it goes on and on. But let me let you in on a little secret. Some of the best designs in history completely ignored the rules. Today, I am going to show you 5 so-called graphic design rules that you are absolutely allowed to break without losing your credibility as a graphic designer. Actually, breaking the rules intentionally could be the very thing that makes your work stand out. So buckle up, rule breakers. We're designing dangerously today. Hi, everyone. My name is Candace Bobchuk, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, I am a graphic designer who has worked internationally. And I love coming on this channel and teaching you how to design with confidence, clarity, and creativity. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button because I make videos just like this every single week. My videos don't only help you sharpen your skills, but you might get to break a few rules along the way. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm not telling you to throw design theory completely out the window. That's not what my channel is about. These rules, they exist for a reason, and you kind of earn the right to bend them once you're a seasoned designer like me. So without further ado, let's jump into the first rule. Rule number 1. Always stick to the grid. Every single graphic design class drills this into you. Respect the grid. Keep everything aligned, neatly placed, and perfectly balanced. But guess what? Some of the boldest designs out there, they completely ignored the grid rule. Think about David Carson in the 90s with Ray Gun magazine. It was complete and total chaos on a page. And guess what? It actually worked. And that is because it matched the brand's rebellious identity. Breaking the grid rule works when you do it with intention. For example, let's say that you're designing a poster for a music festival. Breaking out of the box makes the event feel more dynamic and alive. Compare that to designing something for, let's say, a bank. Breaking the grid, it would make it feel sloppy and untrustworthy. Okay, story time. One time I was designing a poster for a university event, and the first draft, it was perfectly aligned and neat. And it was fine. But the second version, the version where I threw the text diagonally across the page and totally ignored the grid, that is the one that they went with because it felt more alive. Rule number 2, never use more than 2 fonts. Typography teachers love this one. Stick to 2 fonts for cohesion. But if you look at experimental posters or zines, or even modern digital design, mixing multiple fonts can feel rich and expressive. Think of Paula Scher's work with the Public Theater. She used tons of typefaces, different weights and different scales, and that was really iconic. The trick to this one is don't combine fonts randomly. They should kind of talk to each other. A bold, chunky display font might pair very well with a thin serif. And throwing in something like a handwritten style, it could add personality. When I was a student, I remember a professor slapping my wrist, figuratively, for using 3 fonts on one poster. And years later, I look at big design studios and they're mixing things like 7. And that just makes me think to myself, you know what? Maybe I was onto something after all. Rule number 3, keep text 100% legible. Design 101, if people can't read it, then you failed. Legibility is the holy grail. But sometimes, mystery, it could really create engagement. You can think of things like movie posters where you have to almost squint to read the title. Or fashion brands that distort the type because vibe matters more than clarity. My teaching point in this one is this works especially well in advertising. If your design makes people lean in and work a little harder, you have actually captured their attention. But the danger here is pushing it too far. If no one could read the message at all, then you've lost them entirely. I was designing a logo one time where the type almost looked like an abstract symbol. It wasn't something that was instantly readable. But the client, they really loved that people asked, wait, what does that say? That curiosity, it really created a conversation around the brand. And rule number 4, white space must be preserved. Let's be honest, as designers, we worship white space. It's all about breathing room, simplicity, and minimalism. But okay, hear me out. Sometimes filling the entire page creates power. Think of things like punk zines, protest posters, or like psychedelic rock artwork from the 60s. The lack of space, it feels loud and overwhelming. And that's the point. It's all about matching the mood. If you're working for a luxury brand, you might want to stick to white space. But if you're working for something like a streetwear brand, filling the entire page might really fit the vibe. An example of this is one time I designed a flyer for a nightclub, one where the client said, "Fill it up." I don't want any empty white space. And I'm a minimalist at heart, so it did break my heart a little bit. But the final product, it was very loud and chaotic. And guess what? It totally matched the atmosphere of that club. And rule number 5, color must harmonize. In design school, we're taught to use harmonious palettes, complementary, analogous, or even monochrome. Everything has to be nice and safe. But using clashing colors, that could demand attention. Neon green with magenta? Just saying. Red on cyan? These color combos really vibrate visually. And sometimes that is the exact energy that you need. My teaching point is when you're using clashing colors, do it with intention. I'm sure you guys are sick of me saying it by now, but that's mainly what design is about. Doing things intentionally. You could use this in areas like headlines, posters, or campaigns, where impact matters more than being subtle. But please, for the love of God, don't put neon green body text onto a hot pink page, unless you want your audience to hate you forever. One time I pitched a color palette where it was teal with an obnoxious red, and everyone in that boardroom kind of cringed inside themselves. But then me being stubborn, I went and tested it in context. And we ended up rolling out some social media ads. And since it was so different than everything else on that feed, it stopped people mid-scroll. That campaign, it did really well. So the moral of this story is sometimes ugly is effective. Okay, so here's the bottom line. Rules are important. They give us structure, especially when we're starting out. But once you understand why the rules exist, then feel free to break them. And that's when graphic design becomes really exciting. So the next time that someone tells you that you can't do that specific thing in graphic design, sit back and ask yourself, is it breaking the rules because I'm lazy? Or is it because I want to make a statement? And if it's the second, then you are in good company with graphic designers who truly made history. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments what graphic design rule that you have broken lately. And if you're new here, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe. I make design insights and process vlogs weekly, and I'm more than happy to share any tips to help you level up your creative career. Until next time, go out there, design dangerously. Bye-bye.